Hello, everyone. Today is the 27th of January, 2024, and I'm joined here with Michael in Germany, and he has put together a script for us, and we are going deeper and deeper into this very interesting study that Michael has put together for us, and he has some surprises for us, some big surprises that have to do with the agenda of the elite, I think. Isn't that true, Michael? Welcome.
Welcome, Brad. Thanks for having me. Thanks for all the people who are just have to bear with my bad English. Well, it's just the road to hell that we are just looking here because it's just science, so-called. And Bill is interfering. Bill hates us. But nonetheless, I think that we need close to 2 sessions. And then afterwards, in the 3rd session from now, maybe people then will see the bigger picture, the biggie.
Yeah.
The biggie.
Bill
What's it all
hates
about?
because he's opening the gates of hell for everyone to enter in and join him.
On the broad way.
Yeah, to destruction.
On the broad way, sure. So, this is just the two of us together with the Bible, so that let's try to find out the truth. It will be a very, very hard way, but we will try to cope with it. And without any further ado, we were last time talking about the Earth, as usual, because it's just a session, a study about geology, and all the geology that the world is just putting as discovered or covered in their so-called truth so-called. So what did I bring with me? It's so much, it's just overwhelming where to look, because all the world is a total mess. I'm sorry, because some of the content that I will present to you will be in my native English German. But I can translate it to the best of my abilities. So when we are talking about all these heavenly bodies, like Copernicus, the heavenly bodies, one of them is the moon, la luna, female. And usually what science is telling you is that the moon is the cause for flood, for the flood, and for the ebb, and for the tide. Correct, Brett?
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Because I got a big problem with it. Because in their system, everything is moving. The Earth is spinning. The heliocentric sun system, solar system is spinning. The entire universe is spinning. And maybe these scientists are also spinning. So, therefore, they claim that this would be the cause of the flood. That, it depends on what side of the Earth it's just facing the moon, and therefore just the moon. Gravitation, if you believe it. It's just a belief. It's not science, it is a belief, because you can't measure it, you can't prove it, you can't feel it. No, but it's just their so-called science, which then we come up with, and you get good grades in school if you just can all put out that so-called knowledge from your long-term memory, from your brain hard disk drive. So they say that has something to do with the gravity of the moon that pulls the water away and the water to the shores and all the stuff. I'm not going into this because this is just mainstream science, and everybody says, oh yeah, we are on the foundation of our science and this is proven. No, that is not proven. It's just a theory. So that is a big problem. Everything they claim is just a claim. It's just a theory, but it's not a proven fact. Yeah, it is the gravity of the moon. Yeah, and I said, oh, gravity, Isaac's fairy tale. So, if the moon is putting all the water like a big vacuum cleaner. Oh, vacuum, I know, Brad, you got a hard problem with vacuum because vacuum means nothing, but vacuum does not mean nothing in this world, because in this world they try to put everything around you that the original meaning of the words have nothing to do with the meaning now. So it's just it's just another trick of the devil. Yeah, that it would just try to put, in German we have a saying, they put the words around in your mouth. Yeah. So
can I ask you? So that means that space is not really space. There's no emptiness there. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. And vacuum, they say, can create forces. Yeah, so vacuum means nothing. So there is nothing. There's also no force. The trick that they're doing is that they are just trying to let people believe.
What? I've never seen this word. Reification?
Yeah, reification.
Reification? What on earth is reification?
Ja, Verdinglichung. Yeah, you don't know your language.
No, I don't.
Okay.
Is reification meaning? Let me look that
The
up.
reification means that you present something as material which is not material. Something as physical which is not physical at all. So space is not physical. Therefore, space cannot...
Oh, that's going to throw the whole world into an endless feedback loop. Reification? Hold on. I'll be right back. I'm going to get my old encyclopedia or my dictionary.
I can literally see the dust coming down from the... dust everywhere. Brett's coughing and sneezing.
Reification. Boy, Michael, you really got me today. How is that spelled? R-E... How is that spelled? R-E-I?
Reification.
R-E-I?
R-E-I, yeah. F-I-C-A-T-O-I-N.
R-E-I-F. R-E-I-F. Oh, boy, Michael, this is really something very interesting. Reification. Reinforce. R-E-I-F. R-E-I-F. I'm sorry. Reify. Reify. To convert mentally into a thing, to materialize.
Yeah.
To materialize. So this is not material.
No. Space is not material. You see, that vacuum cannot be material because vacuum does mean nothing. It means something, but because that something means nothing.
Oh,
so
boy,
that
Michael,
nothing
this
can...
is going to be a doozy.
It's quite easy because they just try to put everything in the material room. Why? Because Satan is, of course, the ruler of all the material things. Yeah, you see that time, space, and space bending is a theory of gravity. The basic idea is that instead of being an invisible force that attracts objects to one another, gravity is a curving or warping of space. The more massive an object, the more it warps the space around it. Yeah, and then you got that hilarious depiction here of all
In other words, literally, when you're looking up in the sky, you're looking at heaven.
Yeah.
And heaven doesn't exist on Earth.
Yeah, because it's a mental concept, but
it's literally that simple, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's just a definition of what kind of sky do you mean. You see, the sky is the visible heaven, in my humble opinion, and the heaven is the spiritual realm, and heaven cannot be depicted as material.
Right.
It's just, it's like faith. Yeah, you see, faith is nothing material. You can't grasp it. You can't put it in your pocket. It's just faith. It's just a mental concept. It's just a character.
A principality.
Principalities. Yeah, so, but what they are doing in this general relativity is they try to bend space, but you see that space is not defined as matter.
Oh.
And so this is the same concept, I guess, what is the explanation for the flood, for example, because the gravity of the moon pulls then the water of the earth. You see that in that example here. Maybe you can grasp my point.
Oh, yeah. Boy, that's a big point.
Oh, this is just the beginning of all the mess.
Good. No. I think this is very, very essential to get this. Okay, Michael, so go ahead.
Yeah, so here the earth tugs on moon and the moon tugs on the earth. And so that would be the cause of the tides. You see?
Oh boy,
but there are
principle.
problems in it, and this is just only the basics. And I'm sorry, I can't explain it that much. That I would maybe could explain it in German because I'm not a native speaker. But nevertheless, you see that if the moon is so powerful that it could create the tides on the Earth, which is not a planet because the Earth is not moving in the Bible, but don't say any other people. Then, just a joke, of course. Then, why doesn't the Earth pull? So then, why, if it is gravity? Gravity means a bigger object is attracting a smaller object. So the smaller object, oh no, I don't want to go nearer to the Earth. But the Earth is so powerful because it's such a massive heavenly body. Because it is not a planet, it's not a star. But you see that the problem is that would totally contradict their own theory. Because if the moon is so powerful that it can extract the water out of the sea or from the shores, from the tides to create, then why is the Earth not much more powerful and could pull the moon into their own orbit or closer to Earth? Because gravity means that a heavier object attracts a smaller object. But maybe we have only to wait billions of years of time, Brett. And on that regard, why is the moon so powerful that he can also create these tides on Earth, but it isn't so powerful when humans are officially walking on the moon? Some may say, I'm wishing my life away. No way. You see all the contradictions there. Man consists of 60 to 70% of water if you are an adult. So why doesn't the Earth pull the moon closer? Instead, the moon is being there as an example that it would create all the tides. And you got much more problems of that. For example, the North Sea in Germany, which is north, of course, has flood and ebb, while the sea in the east of Germany, quite 100, 200 miles apart, hasn't that phenomenon on that scale. Why is that? When the moon is 237,000 miles away, that doesn't make a difference if it is 100 miles more west or 200 miles more in the east? Really? And why am I not affected by it? Yeah, you see that if my side of the globe, if I would believe in the globe, my side of the globe is then right in front of the moon. And the moon is full in its brightness and it's dark and it's just pulling. It must pull my water out of my body. My. Maybe that would be a good idea not to leave the house when it is new moon or full moon or the moon is visible, Brett. Wouldn't that be a good advice from your doctor? Not to leave the house if you can't see the moon, because it's just having some effect on your body. You see that with their hilarious concepts, you can make up everything. I'm not affected by that. Yeah, they say it is 3% if it is the face of the Earth or the surface actually of the Earth is just facing the moon or not facing the moon. It is a difference of plus minus 3%. Yeah, and that would also be that is their science. You have to believe it. You have to believe it.
It's the trickery of the devil.
Yeah, you see, flood comes quite rapidly. And you think that's the gravity of the moon who comes quite rapidly? Really? I don't think so. I don't think so. I have experienced myself the tides. Yeah, but I don't think so. I don't think so, Brett. This is the level of speed when the tide is rushing in. And you think that's the gravity of the moon. This is the North Sea. And you think that's gravity. I don't think so. So back to the script. Yeah, they claim that is the gravity of the moon which creates these tides. And the sun would create that too. But not on that big scale, of course, because it's so far away. You know, we had that subject that it is the distance of the sun is questionable on the early episode. And this is only just the
Michael, it's just a question of of like you said, about faith.
Oh, about
and
faith, yeah.
About how you look at your life, how you look at, whether you've been created or whether you're just a being that just came out of nothing. See, and how you've been raised as a child from your mother and your father, and how they treated you and how they brought you forward to believe what you believe today. And when you start out in the direction your parents put you in, it prepares you for your place in the world and what position you're gonna hold, how you're gonna view the world, how you're gonna look at politics, how you're gonna look at religion, how you were raised has a huge impact. And that's why you have all these psychologists always talking about, what happened in your childhood. Let's study your childhood.
Mm.
Well, the fact of the matter is that when you are biblically based and you have a firm foundation, that there's no way that Jesus Christ came about from the old covenant to the new covenant without having to go through the genealogy that the Bible states, which is about 6,000 years. Therefore, whether you like it or not, you're forced to look at this, that the earth and all that is only 6,000 years old. And that's the kind of the gate that, speaking of gates, that's the gate that I passed through some years ago. And that's not an easy thing when you've been raised in a world that teaches you, it's thousands of years, billions, millions of years, whatever.
Sure.
Oh, and the gap theory. Yeah, the Bible, you have the creation in Genesis. There's a gap there of millions or billions of years. You don't know. We can't prove it. Yeah, we can't prove it.
Blinding you with science. That means use the most complex explanations that nobody can measure or prove it, except these so-called experts. It's like in the case of diseases. Yeah, nobody can identify these.
When we look up into the sky at night and we're looking at the stars, and to say that that's a physical place and we need to travel there is lunacy, because it's not what Michael is saying. It is not a material thing. We look at as being material because we've been raised to believe it. We've been taught to believe it. We have all these different fantasies to believe it. When I was a child, we played these role-playing games, and one of them was this space game. I forget the name of it. And, my brother was into this stuff. And, of course, that has to do with the occult, too, doesn't it? Dungeons and Dragons, demons, and all those ghouls and stuff. And you have these role-playing games. And, when you're a child, oh, yeah, this is fun. Yeah. I want to be a paladin. I can be a good guy. Yeah, in an evil world. It's ridiculous. It's all fantasy. Yeah. And then you grow up and you have to really face it. The fact of the matter is you can't have your cake and eat it too. You have to come to the realization that either this is a creation or it just came out of nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And we know that just came out of nothing is a Vatican script. All these guys are on the side of the enemy, the evil. So that's the real trouble. If you haven't been raised in an environment where you know that there is evil, there's great evil, wicked people, and there are wicked practices. If you don't know that, then you just assume there is no evil.
You see, what they are doing is trying to make things materialize, or trying to make it as pure matter. And space is not matter. It is like as if you would say this is a torch here, and the path of light would be matter here, but it's just light. Yeah,
right. So light is not matter. That's true.
It's not solid matter. And it's the same with their space-bending theory. Here you see that it looks like a net here, but it isn't a net. So it's not existence. It's just a fantasy product. It is CGI or what else. Yeah, and so that is also their gravity.
That's mathematics, though. It's really mathematical. The thing of it is that it's just like a puzzle. And the thing... it's great. It looks fantastic. It could be true, but that's not true.
Yeah, you will be faced with that problem over and over and over again, that they cannot verify their own facts. You can't see it with your naked eye. You can't verify anything. This is just bold claims. It's nothing else. So they claim that when the sun and the moon and the earth would line up in a right angle, so when half moon is occurring in their system, of course, yeah, so then it would be then you would create a tide, or what was it, the sun and the moon and the earth aligned, and you got full moon or new moon, and both effects are adding up maximum, so both effects means the gravity of the moon and also the solar effect. If you got the sun gravity effect and if you got the moon gravity pulling at the same time on the poor Earth, yeah, then you got both effects adding up to the max and you got a spring tide. This is their idea, or this is their theory, yeah. Yeah, and that's the problem with it. You see that we are just a bunch of theories, yeah. So, but what if I would tell you that you have to assume that the moon is a solid object? But maybe it is just a light source. The Bible speaks of being a light source, right? In 1 Genesis. So maybe the moon is just consisting out of gas. Oh, by the way, Jupiter, the head god of the Romans, also has been named the gas giant. Gas giant. So that's the biggest so-called planet in our universe, Catholic. Yeah, it's out of gas. It's gaseous. English. Please. Gas giant. Yeah. So maybe, just maybe, the moon is not a solid object. But if so, nobody can walk on the moon. And the moon would not have any gravity to pull some water out of the earth, because it would not be a solid object. So who tells you that it is a solid object? Who tells you that it is a global object? Maybe there is no dark side of the moon. Because there is no other side. If you got a torch emitting light, then you got only one direction for the light to emit from that torch. Why is that? Because you only use a torch for the things you will enlighten. But you need the light. So what would it be a cause if God would create any global round object to illuminate Jupiter? Because there's no need. God created the light for the earth. So it's just one direction. So for me, it is just a circular object around somewhere in the sky. Don't know where, don't know how long distance it is, don't know, don't care. But you see that they assume that it's a solid object, that you can walk on the moon. Maybe that was also the cause to prove to the lay people, yeah, the moon is a solid object, we can walk on it and we can also drive a car on that. What if the moon is not a solid object? What if the moon is not a globe? And what if there is no dark side of the moon? What if there is no gravity of the moon? And what if there is a Satan which deceives the whole world with science, so-called? It is a total contradiction of the Bible, as it is a research here which is just putting pace onto other items here. It's not about the flat earth, actually. It is about something else. The flat earth is a deception, and you will see why. But it is not. It's not the globe Earth and the flat versus the flat Earth, because that is for the best thing of to mention it. That is just on the surface of it all. I think there is just another thing which they try to put you in. You are being framed when you are just talking about flat Earth versus globe Earth. You are being framed. So they're setting a frame. So why do they set up a frame?
I think the bigger deal is looking at the entire sky as not material, like we just talked about. If that is true, it changes everything, doesn't it?
Yeah, but you would have to differentiate between the sky and the heaven, in my humble opinion, because heaven is the spiritual realm.
But when you look to the sky at night and you see stars and everything, that is a physical description of the heaven, is it not? Is it not material? That's what we're saying?
The sky is where the fowls are flying.
The sky is also where Satan resides.
Yeah,
He's
but
the spirit of the sky.
Yeah, but the only one who is in heaven is Jesus Christ, sitting at the right side of God, you see?
Yeah, that's right.
This is, in my humble opinion,
to usurp the powers of God. Satan's trying to take away the powers of God. But he can't. Well, he can if he can get you and me to believe in him.
Yeah.
And that's essentially what's happening is we have this fulfillment slowly coming to the table of Isaiah 14.
Yeah,
It's
that's
coming.
why Satan said he wants to be like the Most High. He wants to exalt his throne.
Above.
Yeah, but you see that heaven is the old definition is the home of God. And earlier it was the visible sky firmament, but I like to do it, to explain it for myself.
So which God, Michael? The God of this world or the God of the Bible, right?
Yeah, but
The God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob.
You
That's
see that
what it's
if you got the old model of the firmament and the waters below the firmament and the waters above the firmament, there the firmament is the frontier between the earth and the spiritual realm where God is residing. So for me, always I did differ between the sky and the heaven. That would be an own study in itself, but I decided for years ago that I'd say that heaven is where God resides, the Almighty God. And the sky is the thing that is visible, that is under the firmament, where the fowls are flying. You see, that was my understanding, or is my understanding at the moment. Otherwise, you see that you will be lost because you use one word and everybody has a different opinion and a different definition of it. And that's also a distraction in itself. So what is heaven, actually? The English word is attested from late 14th century as a heavenly place, a state of bliss. We will need thousands of hours, I think, but let's look it up what heaven means. Yeah, the sky, as dual, perhaps alluding to the visible arch in which the clouds move, as well as to the higher ether where the celestial bodies revolve. Yeah, but I think that the Bible also depicts sky. Is it? Yeah, so sky is Hebrews. So heaven is Hebrews 8064. And sky is 7834. So they're using a different word for heaven and sky. And that's what I realized some time ago. And therefore I differ between the two. Just to make my point that you know why I did so. Because I realized they are using separate words for that. It's not interchangeable, obviously, because the root is something else. Hast thou with him spread out the sky, which is strong as a molten looking glass? Yeah, this is also the allegory of glass here. Yeah, for the sky is red. And when the sky red is, I think then it's either an allegory or it's just meaning that it's a physical thing which is visible red, but it's not a spiritual realm here, the sky. That is my understanding at the moment. And I think it gets very obvious later on. Can you cope with my opinion?
Oh, of course.
Yeah, so when I was trying to understand the first sentence of Genesis, then I always claim for myself, okay, of course, in the beginning God created the heaven and the earth. God created spiritual and the material things. And the spirit comes always before the material things.
Sounds good.
Yeah, so that's why I made also the difference between heaven and sky, because you see that only spirit can create matter and not the other way around. And what they are trying to do here in this secular science on the earth is just they're trying to see all things which have no body, so which are mentally just a concept, into a material concept, so that really people think that, oh yeah, the room can bend time. Space-bending theory, space-time, that the room can do that, but the room is just a room. It's just defined as being the content of a defined cube or geometrical object. That's the space. But the space cannot do anything because there is nothing there. And at the same time, they claim, of course, it's a vacuum. Vacuum means nothing. So where does gravity and where does all these vacuum forces, where do they evolve? That's a spiritual concept that it's like in the old pagan times when you say that, the planets are gods. And then you venerate the creation instead of the creator. I just want to make quite another road here, quite another point. You see that they are so lying right in your face. They're just presenting moon rocks. Although I think that everybody who's just a little bit into research knows that they were never on the moon. Also not the Japanese, who just claimed lately to be on the moon or not on the moon or close to the moon, whatever. And the official moon rock, I have been talked, that is just a pure petrified tree. It's like these cardboard sheets, curtain rods, roofing paper, television antenna, gold foil, gadgets, and scotch tape. So they were not on the moon, because we do not know if the moon is a solid object. And we do not know if it is three-dimensional, so to speak. So this is just a claim. And I don't believe in gravity. I don't believe in the gravity pulling of the moon. Because I know that these NASA are just lying about us. So let's not go into etymology, because nasha also means to deceive. In Hebrew. It is just a concept like the Earth inner core. From Wikipedia, which is not a free encyclopedia because it has been censored. So you see where to start, because they are just only parroting the mainstream science. They tell you that the Earth has several layers. And that might be. But on the one hand, you see that there is the Earth consists of a majority of water. And on the other hand, they claim that inside the Earth there is a hot core. It's like a big power station. It's an inner core, a solid inner core and a liquid outer core. So you can't prove it. You have to believe it. It is just a belief. It is a religion. You have to believe it. So they also claim that, you see that from that color scheme here, they claim that it is hotter the deeper you get. That's very interesting. Because you can't prove it.
It wouldn't make sense if that's true, really, because where would all that heat, would that heat just dissipate? And
Yeah, good point. And the other point that I got, you see, we have a dwell, for example. And I know that the water from the dwell is quite cold. So, according to that theory, if I would have a dwell of, say, thousands of feet, then well, I must have very hot water. That would be a great idea to save some energy in my house. But obviously it does not work, because you have to believe it, because we do not have the measurements and we do not have the machines to try this out. And this would be very interesting in the future. I'm not...
Oh, yeah, like that whole geothermal energy type discussion. And this is the other thing. Do you remember, Michael, growing up, hearing about, we're going to run out of oil, and when we run out of oil, it's going to be just horrible. We won't be able to drive anywhere. Yeah, that never happened.
So that means that you have to trust their scientists. It's very interesting when you see that the deeper you go in the ocean, the water gets colder and it's getting dark. And doesn't it look like if we would have a sun in our center? I know there are some occultists who are claiming a black sun and all this stuff. Yeah, so this is occultist belief. But you have to believe it. It's just too far away that you could measure it. It's the same like the distance to the moon, the distance to anything. And you have to believe it because you can't measure it. You have to rely on the experts. And I don't believe that concept. Because it's just your earth. Yeah, God did not say that, I will create the earth and in its inner core it's like a sun and it's just warm. No, it's just a very basic concept. The Bible says it's just the earth. It consists of dust and matter. This is their concept. Interesting, huh? On the inside you got it extremely hot, on the outside you got it extremely cold. If we are in a solar system, I would just suppose it would be the other way around. It would be extremely cold in the inside and would be hotter on the outside because the sun is shining. But what do I know? I'm not a scientist. Yeah, so that's what they tell you. And that has something to do, of course, with the continental drift, because the first layer is the continental crust. And then comes the oceanic crust and so forth and so forth. But what does Wikipedia, the not-so-free encyclopedia, tells us? They tell us the innermost geologic layer of the planet Earth, which is not a planet, according to the Bible. There are no samples of Earth core accessible for direct measurement. Oh, how come? So, once again, this is religion. As there are for Earth's mantle, information about Earth core mostly comes from analysis of seismic waves and Earth magnetic field. And that is a big aha, in my humble opinion, because I think there is much more to magnetic fields than we have been told. Listen, the inner core is believed to be, so it is a belief, once again, composed of an iron-nickel alloy with some other elements. The temperature at the inner core surface is estimated to be 5,700 Kelvin, which is about the temperature at the surface of the sun. As I said, the Earth in its core has like a little sun, which would make absolutely sense in a heliocentric system. If you venerate the planets as God or Helio as the sun god or as the Catholic Church and their sun religion, then it would make absolutely sense to put a small sun in the center of the Earth. Wouldn't it? Once again, there are no samples. It is believed to be and is estimated to be about the temperature. It is a religion. So, like Gene Wilder said in Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, come with me and you'll be in a world of pure imagination. Wikipedia. Earth was discovered to have a solid inner core distinct from its molten outer core in 1936 by the Danish seismologist Inge Lehmann, who deduced its presence by studying seismograms from earthquakes in New Zealand. Is discovered to have a solid inner core. What does the Bible tell us? In the book of Job, chapter 38, God asked Job, "Where wast thou when I laid the foundations of the earth? Declare if thou hast understanding." So, of course, they have foundations, and we will soon see another formula or another model of the earth with foundations. But it's not important of which material it consists. It has to be solid, of course. A few years later, in 1940, it was hypothesized that its inner core was made of solid iron. Interesting. You know what iron is in symbology? Can you remember Bruce Lee sessions, Circle of Iron? what kind of a planet it resembles, Brett?
What's that, Michael?
It's been said for the core of the Earth, a few years later in 1940, it was hypothesized that its inner core was made of solid iron. Interesting, huh? Can you remember Bruce Lee sessions? He had a movie he wanted to make officially of Circle of Iron. And I said, oh, that's interesting. Do you remember what kind what kind of metal has been attributed to which planet? Yeah, so what would be iron in the planetary, in the heavenly bodies? Which planet would it be?
Rome.
Yeah, it would be Mars.
Rome.
It would be Mars, yeah. Interesting.
Oh, Mars. Okay.
Yeah, it would be Mars, the Roman god of war, of course.
Oh, yes. Okay.
Yeah. So in Roman terms, you would say, okay, it was hypothesized that the inner core of the Earth was made of the Romans' god of war, and we have constantly war on this Earth. Interesting.
Yes.
They're just an allegory here.
That's interesting.
Mm-hmm. So these two people established that measurements of normal modes of vibration of Earth caused by large earthquakes were consistent with a liquid outer core. This is very interesting because that's the same problem I got with the North Sea versus the Sea of the East, and with the tides, which do not appear everywhere on the Earth at the same level or on the same level. That's the same problem I got with earthquakes. You see that earthquakes are been said they appear because of continental drifts. And eruptions of volcano who were just spitting out extremely hot. Obviously, you can see it because it just there are fumes and flames and burnt earth and all the stuff. Yeah, on different locations of the Earth. But that is not a proof that the Earth consists of an extremely hot iron core. Yeah, these volcanoes are just on several locations. But it's not a general proof that the entire Earth consists of an extreme hot core. And this is what many people, I think, they just overlook maybe. Maybe I overlook things sometimes, but nonetheless, I'm just here to go step by step to the things that I think are really critical in the future. The magnetic field of the Earth. How come? While it seems to be generated mostly by fluid and electric currents in the outer core, those currents are strongly affected by the presence of the solid inner core and by the heat that flows out of it. Although made of iron, the core is not ferromagnetic due to being above the Curie temperature. And you have to believe that too. Of course, if it would be made of iron, that would be magnetic, but they claim it is above the so-called Curie temperature. And I'm not going into this because obviously we can't prove it. But it's just Wikipedia. Wikipedia claims that the Earth has a gravitational field and its angular inertia. Yeah, and that's, of course, in their heliocentrical system when everybody or everything is spinning. Yeah, so it is estimated to be, it is believed to be, you see, that everything is just a belief. Can't prove it. And if they would come up with any proof, you can verify it because you are not an expert and you don't have their measurements. Yeah, so therefore, there is no acceleration of gravity. And on that regard, it also was very interesting for me because somebody approached me years ago with that so-called Schumann frequency. Have you heard of that, Brett?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, but if the Earth is not spinning, what about the Schumann frequency? Can't be the Earth then. Huh? Must be something else. It's just also a heliocentric concept then, I guess. So the density is believed to be, and the temperature can be estimated from their belief. Yeah, from the melting temperature of impure iron and the pressure, etc., etc. You have to believe it. If you believe that the core has been made from the material which has been attributed to the Roman god of war. And I don't have to believe it, because the Bible is just silent on that matter, because it doesn't matter. It simply does not matter. What matters is there is a magnetic field. So there must be something which creates this magnetic field. Ask Mr. Jean-Michel Jarre, magnetic fields. And interesting, that he's got in his iris here, yeah, like the Egyptian goddess Iris, yeah, depicted the Earth. Magnetic fields. Interesting. By the way, if I remember correctly, he was been married to a Freemason actress, but just a minor thing.
I get a laugh out of that, Michael, because that's like that cover. It's like this one eye symbolism kind of thing that everyone does.
That too.
Yeah,
that too. Yeah, he's talking about oxygen with the skull, and he's talking about equinox. So what do you think? Yeah?
Right.
No wonder, huh?
Mm-hmm.
So, getting further into Wikipedia, they claim there is still no direct evidence about the composition of the inner core. Based on the relative prevalence of various chemical elements in the solar system, the theory of planetary formation, and you see that it does not make any sense to go further in that sentence, because everything is a belief and is a solar system, it is a planet. It has no substance here if you look at it from a biblical standpoint, right? So I think we can skip the entire subject. It is just another belief. Yeah? And that belief, of course, has been substantiated by all their, let's say, initiated experts. Yeah, this is a schematic of the Earth's inner core and outer core motion and the magnetic field it generates. I would have a hard time believing this too, because then all our hard disk drives and all the stuff would be in danger sometimes. Oh my, oh my, oh my. There would be so much things, but you have to believe they're scientists. Yeah, so that's what I mean about their gravity model. There are much more interesting other forces, internal and external forces. And Wikipedia tells you the Earth's inner core is thought to be slowly growing. And of course, that will happen about 100 degrees Celsius per billions of years. So, it makes no sense. Yeah, and the possibility that it rotates, and the Earth is rotating, and also in 2023, that is quite recent, it was reported that the core's spin has stopped spinning faster than the planet's surface around 2009 and likely is now rotating slower than it. And that would be also very interesting. So I think they are coming up with some things. Of course, this is just totally fairy tale. Ask Gene Wilder. This is just imaginary land.
Stop spinning. What? This doesn't... what on earth are you talking about here, Michael?
The inner core is not rigidly connected to the Earth's solid mantle because everything has to be in motion. The possibility that it rotates slightly more quickly or slowly than the rest of the Earth has long been entertained. That's the right word here, huh? Entertained. There's a super rotation. You see that everything is spinning here. And now in 2023, they claim that the core's spin has stopped spinning faster than the planet's surface. Lucky we are. Around 2009 and now is likely now rotating slower than it. You see, you can come up with everything.
What on earth is this?
What in earth is this?
Where did you find this, Michael?
This is Wikipedia about the core of the Earth.
Oh, Wikipedia.
Come on, I'm not making anything up here.
Man.
So once again, in 2023, it was reported that the core spin has stopped spinning faster than the planet's surface around 2009 and likely is now rotating slower than it. This is not thought to have major effects. As the Pope, he would tell you otherwise, maybe in the future. And one cycle of the oscillation is thought to be about 7 decades. 7, interesting. Coinciding with several other geophysical periodicities, especially the length of day and magnetic field. Congratulations, the magnetic field once again. So
is see that periodicities? How do you pronounce that?
Periodicities.
Periodicity.
Come on. Don't argue with me that I pronounce it incorrectly. Yeah, you go first.
I'm trying to pronounce it myself. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I
you see.
said anything.
Yeah, this is science so called. It has to be very complicated then. But you see that what I'm trying to point out is that it's just a simple belief. Nobody can prove anything. It's just a belief and a theory and a model. And then a few sentences later, they rely on that model, theory, and summation and what else, and just sell it as the most likely alternative, and maybe sometimes as the truth. In 1999, so 666, in opposition, Mr. Lefts and Legros noted that the gravitational fields of the Sun and the Moon are responsible for ocean tides and also applied torques on the Earth affecting its axis of rotation. That is also another concept which has not been found on the Bible, because it is Gen, of course, 66.6 degrees, yeah, and the slowing down of its rotation rate. The dynamics is complicated, yeah, I guess, because of the currents and magnetic fields in the inner core. So you see that it will get hilarious in the end. They find out that the axis of the inner core wobbles, mutates slightly with a period of about 1 day. You see, they can sell you everything. If you are ready for it, they will sell you everything. Yeah? You see, tidal forces at several times in the past, 1.8, of course, billion years ago. Yeah, that's the only condition. It must be far away, and it must be millions of billions of years old. So it's absolutely a fantasy project. Theories about the age of the core are necessarily part of theories of the history of the Earth as a whole. This has been a long debated topic and is still under discussion at the present time. It is widely believed that the Earth's solid inner core formed out of an initially completely liquid core as the Earth cooled down. Cool. Where do you find it in the Bible, huh? In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. I love the Bible so much. Where is my Bible? Where is our Bible? Where is the word of our Lord? In the beginning God created the heaven and the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the earth. On the face of the deep, I'm sorry. My. Can you see somewhere here, Brad, the earth was extremely hot and had to be cooled down for billions of years? No. Me too. So, this is age estimation. Sorry, I have missed out. Theories about the age of the core are necessarily a part of theories of the history of Earth as a whole. This has been a long debated topic and is still under discussion at the present time. It is widely believed that the Earth's solid inner core formed out of an initially completely liquid core as the Earth cooled down. The magic word is believed. Yeah, so believed. However, there is still no firm evidence about the time when this process started. Yeah, it must be billions of years ago then, huh? Estimation, billions of years. Billions of years. Yeah? Billions of years. I don't want to overdo it here, but it's just a theory and it's a belief, like everything else. Another way to estimate the age of the Earth is to analyze changes in the magnetic field of Earth during its history. You see, then you have to rely on their history. Yeah, as trapped in rocks. No, you are trapped in their system. Yeah, and then you come up with the C14 hilarious method.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
right.
You see, that was just my short journey into the core of the Earth. Bam, 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 bam. So, when you talk about the Earth and you claim about, I know what it is, and I know how it looks, then you only talk about the surface, right? Because that's what you see. You don't dig deep. You don't go extremely far off in heights or so. You can't fly. You're not a bird. You're not cheepy fowl flying in the sky. So you talk about the Earth. And that is extremely interesting. Don't let them fool you on these futile topics, global versus flat. Because to sum this session up, because we are just about to do another one, look what they do. If you go in etymology, global means from globe, meaning worldwide, universal, so Catholic, of course, pertaining to the whole globe of the Earth is from 1892. From a sense development in French. So globe means, it's just universal, like the globus cruciger. I have to point it out here, universal. So, and what does it mean if somebody is being labeled as a flat earther? Flat Eric, huh? The problem is that many people judging books by the cover. They think they have been presented with the video and to know the truth. If somebody is depicting here a poor kangaroo, been here dumped in a river or in a lake or what else, and people have to get that poor kangaroo out, and the kangaroo is just congratulating and saying thanks to the man who saved that kangaroo out of the water, then it's just only half of the deal. Yeah? Because the prequel to that video is quite different, because the first one went on viral, after everybody or everyone is saving that innocent kangaroo who has been stuck in the water. And that I found extremely interesting, because in the real video, in the first one, you see that the kangaroo attacked a biker. And therefore, while attacking the bicycle, the kangaroo fell backwards into the lake. So it was an angry kangaroo and not an innocent, poor kangaroo which had to be saved. No, the kangaroo attacked the man. And that's what I mean, that not judge a book by its cover. You have to listen to both sides. And then I found it extremely hilarious that in the background of that video, which I have saw this week, there's a globe. And I said, okay, then it makes sense, to use that in that session. Because you can also be framed with words. Remember, for the spinning globe Earth, they need gravity. And now I present you with a flat Earth. In the projection of the maps, the polar regions are completely distorted. Antarctica looks bigger than all the other continents combined, and distances are misleading. So you can't project anything. You have to choose what kind of model you would like. And you can explain everything in both models. You can also explain the season in both models. But I have another idea why they just try to frame people as flat earther. Look at the explanation of etymology. Flat means stretched out on a surface. From the 1400s, it means without curvature or projection. Sense of prosaic or dull is from 1570s. So then, when the Jesuits then came and they just were modifying the educational system, ratio storiorum, on the notion of featureless, lacking contrast. Used of drink from 1600, of women's bosoms by 1864, of musical notes from 1590s because the tone is lower than the given or intended pitch. A flat tire is from 1908, flat screen in reference to television 1969, flat earth in reference to refusal to accept the evidence, which is not an evidence but also a theory, of a global earth is from 1876. As it is a sense of prosaic and dull, I sense that global has as a word has a more valuable meaning as somebody who is being labeled as a flat person. Because flat means there is something lacking. The Bible says that the sun is going up and going down, so God is not bound to physics of man. You will soon see there are some things mentioned in the Bible about heavenly bodies which cannot be explained by man's science. Can't. You can't. It's totally violating their system. It's like in that case of the Star of Bethlehem. There are no records of some illuminaries happening then in that small time frame of 6 to 0 before Christ. So planet, on the other hand, means wandering star, and we know that the Earth is fixed. But why do they come up with a planet? I have an idea. The idea comes from Job 1, verse 7.
Mm-hmm. And the Lord said unto Satan, Whence comest thou? Then Satan answered the Lord and said, From going to and fro in the earth, and from walking up and down in it.
Yeah, and now I combine the two things. And of course then Satan would be a wandering star. But maybe my kind of guessing is a little bit too simple or oversimplified, I do not know. But I think that planet, a wandering star, has nothing to do with the earth depicted in the Bible. Because the earth has been created long before sun and moon had been created. So therefore there is no solar system. At least has not been intended to be as such from the Almighty Lord. So that is my point, that I don't want to be framed with the global versus flat stuff, because there is much more to it. So when it comes down to the arguments of the shape of the earth, be it global, be it flat, or be it otherwise, I always sense that it just is so easy to understand that everything is possible, because we are just being creatures in a creation of an almighty God, and I don't think that we can explain everything, and it's not meant to be, because we have other tasks in our life. But so be it. You see, the curse of the sun and the curse of the moon is quite easy when you see it on a circular-shaped flat surface. Yeah, so it just goes from one direction to the other, or just once spinning clockwise 360 degrees once per day, and then you got two tropics, the tropics of Cancer for the summer and the tropics of Capricorn for wintertime. And of course wintertime in the northern hemisphere would be the opposite for the southern hemisphere. So then it is winter there and the other way around. That's the one thing. But what struck me actually, that I thought there was a term that flat does not sound that admirable. It sounds a little bit dull, and I found something on that behalf. First of all, I thought it would be great to get to an official translation program, and I found that program. That program is from Pons, P-O-N-S, and it tells me, yeah, there is a substantive, a noun called flathead, and flathead means a stupid person in the United States slang. It's a slang word, so it's not a word which has been used. Maybe it's also a word which is only been used from county to county or state to state, or for some specific people, I don't know. But flathead means Schwachkopf, which means a dumb one. This was confirmed actually, and I have to look it up. This is the official Pons translation in English-German, where you see that's a stupid person. And that has been confirmed here by Urban Dictionary. Flathead. Flathead means slow and not smart. Yeah, not stupid, just not quick on the uptake. So yeah, it takes a little time to comprehend, maybe. Yeah, and that has been
like this carpenter over here.
No.
Just kidding.
No. You see, that present people are always the exception,
I'm just
course.
joking. It just reminds me of
no,
someone.
but I knew, Brad, that I have heard that somewhere, and now even today, a few hours ago, I found that explanation. I said, yeah, I just want to implement it. I'm sorry, in that session.
It's funny because I've always thought, it's, well, you got a round head. Well, why can't you have a round earth then?
Yeah.
I don't know. That's just my way of thinking.
Yeah. The earth is a circle, according to Isaiah. That's just it, yeah. So that I just wanted to make that point, because I always think that, flat lacks a little bit of a third dimension, yeah. So I don't think that we live on a flat earth, and I will come to this. You see, flat has not that positive content. Somebody be labeled as a flat earther. Blech. Nobody wants.
Flatliner, I think you're talking about death here.
Yes.
Yeah, because you're talking about a pulse. There's a pulse.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what you have in store with this whole study.
I think so.
I have no idea.
You have no idea. Yeah, you do. You just wanted to be surprised. Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, I will give you one hint before we close down the first session, okay? I will give you one hint. The first hint is that the flat Earth is absolutely incorrect. The magical word is topography.
Sure.
Topography is the study of the forms and feature of land surfaces. Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
So that is why it misses out a third dimension. It misses the height. And that could be one of the extremely clever reasons why they have set up this flat earth psyop. Because it must be incorrect in any term. It is absolutely incorrect. That's why I always say I don't believe in the globe earth and I don't believe in the flat earth. And it's not just my assumption, but it's just quite logical, because everybody talked about it also in German. Oh, what do you believe in? What do you believe in? I said, I believe in God's heavenly creation. And he said, yeah, it's a globe, is it a flat? I said, none of those. Because you lack any kind of information, and I don't think that God's heavenly creation can be explained correctly in our human terms. He can make wonders, and our physics cannot explain all the wonders. How the heavenly bodies has been fixed, how everything has been created, why there are such a diversity in animals and all the stuff. Yeah, you can't explain it. Of course, they try to explain it because they want to get rid of God. Yeah.
Well, we covered that in the beginning when you mentioned this word that I've never heard and I've forgotten. I had not written down.
Oh.
About materialize.
I see. Yeah. Reification. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Reification.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So I don't believe any explanation, but the point of that theory or on that study here is not to go into all the theories. You will see that I try to cover all the problems in the theories bit by bit to come then to the conclusion why they are putting all this stuff in front of us. It's also, of course, divide and conquer. That's the old scheme. But it has just another meaning of it. And as I did it in the Kennedy sessions, I like to do that in the science sessions too. I'm not going into all the things that they put in front of us to distract us, but I'm just going into all the nitty-gritty that they don't tell us. And I think there is the solution. And that will soon come up. Yeah, you see, topography is very interesting stuff because it is just about the things in the third dimension. So the things which are, for example, mountains. And what is a mountain other than being nearer to the sky? Meaning, when Moses went to Mount Sinai to receive the 10 Commandments on stone tablets, he went onto the mountain. He was not on a flat earth, said, God, come down to me. No, he had to go up. So you need height. You need a third dimension. And that's what nobody talks about. Everybody is about all the surface of the earth. Yeah? Important is the things that they don't tell us. That's important. And the next session we go until the latitude and the longitude. And there will come some surprises. And after that, I won't bother you with any theoretical basements, any foundation of it all. Then we go into the nitty-gritty. I promise. I really promise. But it's important what they don't tell us, what they try to avoid at any cost, and not the things that they put in front of us to distract us, to keep us busy with. And I don't want to get busy with any surface of the earth. It goes much more deeper in every kind of a word. So thanks for having me, although it was an exhausting session maybe, but you see that they can't explain it, they can't verify it, let's say it this way, they can verify it. And the next time I would like to go in the latitude and in the longitude, that we see that they claim that they could control any part of God's creation into just measuring the earth. Oh, that would be also quite interesting, I think. I think it would be more interesting than this session, but thanks that Brett had just taken the time to spend this session with me. And thanks very much for having me, and looking forward to the next time, especially looking forward to the next session. Maranatha.
Thanks, Michael. We'll see you next time. Be sure to tune in and catch this one. I'm definitely looking forward to it too, Michael. Hope to see everyone then. God bless. Bye-bye.